What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. And it has been what seems like forever since I posted a video, but I actually just looked this morning and it's been a month and a few days, give or take, since I posted the last video. Hanging out with Hunter out at Holly Tree, Alabama at the off-road park. And just before I went to Holly Tree, I had made a decision to kind of do away with social media altogether. I deleted all my Facebook, Instagram, and all that. I needed some time to focus on my goals for this year and what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go. And this video is about one of those goals. And a lot of the reason I've been kind of absent from YouTube for the last month. So as you can see here behind me, there's a new bike. Well, new to me anyways. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of explain how I stumbled into the bike and the goal or idea that I had with the bike, and then tell you a little bit about the bike. I'm not gonna get into too many details. And then the end of this video will be the full build that I've been doing on this bike since spring break. So where I'm at in life, as some of you followers may know, if you've been following me for a while, I posted a video probably a year or more ago about being sober. I'm working on 7 years in sobriety here. And through sobriety, I have ventured into all sorts of different hobbies and activities to kind of fill the void and take up time to kind of keep my mind off of certain things. But at the end of the day, my first love has always been motorcycles, specifically road motorcycles, street bikes, cruisers, dual sports, anything that I could legally ride on the street. Was never really into dirt bikes all that much. Did grow up riding four-wheelers, but either way, I bought my first bike in 2012 before I ever got sober. I've had a motorcycle essentially since 2012. I've put between 3 bikes, conservatively 125,000 miles on 2 wheels all over the Southeast. So my goal was to buy a Harley, and for the last 5.5 years, I had been working to pay off debt and foreclosures or repos or any of that stuff that I had accumulated through alcoholism. And I was at a point where I was getting ready to buy a Harley, and some unforeseen circumstances came up. I ended up having to buy a new house. So I went for a period about a year, maybe a little longer, without a bike because the KLR blew up. Couldn't buy the Harley. Bought a new house instead. So after I bought the house, I was working to save back up for a Harley, and then this bike behind me came up, and it was just such a good deal, I couldn't pass up on it. So we're gonna get into the bike a little bit, and then the rest of the video will be the build. This bike is a 1994 Honda VT600C. Depending on where you look or what information you research on it, you'll see that it is sometimes called a shadow. A lot of times you'll see most people just refer to it as the VT600. There was a couple models. There was a VTC, a VTC DLX. This is just the VT6. And some of the parts I've ordered for it were specifically said Honda Shadow. Some of them specifically said VT600. Either way, this bike, when I got it, had 15,000 some odd miles on it. It had been parked in a garage since 2016 with all the fluids still in it. So the first order of business when I got it was pull the tank and all this off, all the emission controls out, There is a dual carb setup in there. Pulled the dual carbs out, cleaned them really well, pulled out the jets, the pilot jets, the float bowls, got all that cleaned up, put back together. Changed all 4 spark plugs to new plugs, drained the oil, put a fresh K&N filter on it with fresh motorcycle oil in. Then we moved to the rear. We did a full wiring harness rebuild from the tank back. It had, it was all jumbled up in there, so some things had been skinned and was grounding out. The wire to the fuel pump relay was grounding out, so the fuel pump wasn't working. So new wire for the fuel pump relay, new fuel pump, new K&N, interchangeable fuel filter, new wiring harness that was soldered, wire loomed, or soldered heat shrink wire loomed. I did a fender delete on it, got rid of the bracket that had the tag and the mirror and the indicators. It's all in the tail light now, integrated. Went with the bobber style plate mount, LED lights there, wire loom, soldered, all the goods. We went ahead and changed up the pegs to some MX style pegs. New pads, caliper rebuild, fork sills, fork bushings, spring clips, gaiters. Went with a club style front fairing, LED headlight conversion with a new bucket, smoke lenses for the front indicators, radiator flush. These bars they're called the Taco T bars out of a company in Nevada or Nebraska, one called Zombie Performance, outfitted with the Van Colts 1-inch grips, black mirrors, solo bag, new chain and sprocket kit, changed the gearing a bit from a 44 rear sprocket to a 41 so that I gain a little top end at highway speeds. The only thing that I haven't done is the pipes and the airbox delete. That's gonna probably come this winter when I have time to pull the carbs back out and rejet everything multiple times until I find the right sequence that I need. I am going to either order a new refurbished reupholstered seat, or I'm gonna take it to a local shop and have them do it for me. And eventually, when these tires wear completely out, I'm thinking of going to a white wall and maybe a little bit taller tire in the rear. Haven't decided yet. Other than that, this bike has been completely gone through. I wouldn't say a full rebuild, but it has definitely had the majority of the things replaced on it or fixed or what have you. So one of the first things, you can see the fork sills are all blowed out and it's not leaking oil currently, but when we had it compressed on the table and when I had it compressed on the trailer bringing it over, it leaked all this oil down, got oil all in the caliper. And so as you can see, I'm just taking it apart, and here is a clean pad versus a non-clean pad. You can see the difference in the color. So cleaning it up real well, I'm gonna clean that rotor real well, and then put it all back together until I can get the seals for the forks. They should be here soon, and then we'll get the fork seals put in and we shouldn't have to worry about that anymore.